Hi, Dr. Ed Byer here today. We're going to talk about the video number 1 on vertigo. I'm going to be making a series of videos on vertigo and the true underlying causes. This first video is kind of a general video on what really vertigo is, okay? The real causes of vertigo. What vertigo is, it's a misperception in the brain of where your body and your eyes are at. In other words, where you are at and where your brain thinks you are at in your environment are two different things. And that can cause your eyes to move in a funny way and give you all kinds of odd sensations, either rotational or just off balance, okay? Now here's how the brain works. How does our brain know where we are at in our environment? Number one, through our eyes, okay? So we can see where we're at, and this information goes from our eyes into our brain, part of our brain stem, and our cerebellum, so our brain can interpret where we are at. The other receptor of motion and where we are at are these canals that we have in our inner ear. I think most of you understand we have these different labyrinthine system in our inner ear. We're going to be talking more about that next week on what can go wrong there. And so there's this fluid in these canals, and when we move our head and we move our body, that fluid moves in a certain direction, and it triggers a nerve called the vestibular nerve, and it sends that motion information to our brain, brainstem, and cerebellum where it's interpreted. And then the third area that we receive information on movement and where we are at in our environment are from our muscles, tendons, and joints. In all of our muscles, and all of our joints, and all of our tendons, we have little receptors. They're little sensory receptors that when we move, they get pulled apart, and when we flex, they get pushed back together, and that triggers and sends motion information and static information to the brain, brainstem, and cerebellum. When there is a problem, either in these receptors or in the brain, there is going to be a disconnection between where you are at and where your brain thinks you are at. Next week, we're going to cover the number one cause of vertigo and balance disorders, and you're going to see that it's a problem in the inner ear. So you need to understand that vertigo and the sensation of vertigo is a neurological problem, and it cannot be fixed by taking something like meclizine or different positional exercises. It's a very complex problem. So if you're still suffering from it, be looking forward to my series of videos. I hope that helps. I'm Dr. Ed Byer. Have a great day.